Ruth Curtis. I'm an actor. I certainly censored myself, definitely. I'm so used to being interviewed and talking about either a production or a project, talking about just about me. I kind of think, why would anyone be interested? And then I think, well, hang on, I quite like watching interviews with people. I have watched those chat shows and things like that, and I do get intrigued by that. So maybe I'm not as boring as I think. I don't want to answer any question that starts with the words, what's your favourite, or what's the best, because I'm hopeless at answering those sorts of questions. I will come up with a list of 10, 20 things rather than be able to get down to one single, apart from the question, what's your favourite ice cream? And the answer to that is mint chocolate chip. I am first and foremost an actor. That is totally how I identify myself. I'm many other things as well, and professionally I'm many other things. I'm a role player, I'm a director, I'm a voiceover artist. But above anything else, I'm an actor. Even in terms of how I identify myself non-professionally, I still sort of always start off with, I'm an actor. Oh gosh, yes, I've forgotten this one. It depends who's doing the asking. Adults and people who don't know me, bizarrely will quite often ask, are you famous? To which you kind of like go, if I'm being really harsh, I'll go, well, do you know me? Because if you don't, then no, I'm not famous. Children will ask different things. They'll quite often ask, how old are you? And anybody of any age will quite often ask, how do you remember your lines? I haven't particularly been recognised as me. My voice has been recognised though. I was in a car salesman's office because I was buying a car, a second-hand car, and he bizarrely had the television on, and he had it on Channel 4, and I used to do the narration for lots of Channel 4 schools TV programmes. And he did the most fantastic double take where he kind of like looked at the television and he went, but that sounds just like you. And I said, that's because it is me. And he went, but you're sat here. And I said, yeah, I don't do it live every time. It is recorded. He wouldn't truly believe it was me until the credits came up and my name scrolled across the bottom. Because I need to. I used to teach acting and have done in various different universities, colleges, and I will often say to my students, it's not enough to want to be an actor, you have to need to be an actor, because if you can think of any other job that you would be happy doing, go and do that, because it's a lousy profession, it's insecure, it's judgmental, you're judged on everything from the colour of your hair to the size of your feet, let alone whether or not you can actually act or not. So I do it because it is what I am. This follows on from what I was saying about what you're judged on as an actor, because you are judged on things all the time, and in auditions, in castings, you're being judged from the second you walk through the door. But the strangest reason I was given for not being given a job was by a director who said, she phoned me up and she said, you were by far the best person there, you were excellent, really, really good, you were too good. And it's like, what do you do with that as a piece of information? I was too good for the job. One was I had the choice to either be in a touring production, or I could be what was called the play officer for a big community play that we'd been working on as a company for a year or so. And I chose to become the play officer, which meant effectively doing something that was different to being an actor. Another key change point was when I moved to Oxford. I'd been living in Huddersfield, and I moved back to Oxford, which was my hometown, because I got stuck in a rut in Huddersfield, and my mum said, come live with us for 6 months, see what happens. And I did, and things changed very, very quickly. I got lots of acting jobs, I got an agent, all sorts of things changed. Oxford air. This is one of the bravest questions, I think. I moved not just back to Oxford, which was my hometown, I moved back to the house that I was born in. I was a home birth, and I moved back to the house where my parents were living, and it was bizarre to be back in my parents' home. And the other big change was when my dad died, and I had developed a much closer relationship with him, having moved back to Oxford, and my mum having died a couple of years before he did. Because I was living in Oxford, I was his companion. And in a really positive way, it was really good. So, big change. When someone dies, that's big. I have asked people who know me how they would describe me, and one word that was repeated almost across the board was kind, which is interesting. They obviously don't know me that well. No, I am kind. Kind, thoughtful. Someone said wise. Nobody said funny, which is such a disappointment. So I think that's the quality that I would like people to know. I'm a very reactive person. I do all the role play work that I do is about being reactive, responsive, responding to what you're given. I do that out of role play work as well in real life. I respond to what I'm given. If someone is funny, I am far more likely to be funny back. I've got a friend who, when we speak on the phone, we laugh so much, we make each other laugh so much because we're funny with each other, because she is naturally funny. And maybe I'm not naturally funny, maybe I just need that impetus from others. But actually, you know what? I think I am funny. It has to be the number one question, because it's the question that I get asked more than any other. And because it's the one that I really don't have the answer to. I can make up lots of nonsense, but I don't know. It's my job. I remember lines because I have to, because if I don't, I can't do my job. I can tell you through, I've got to get a word in that I was told that or rather I agreed that I would get in. There are lots of methodologies for lines learning. Somebody's going to be very happy that I used that word.
But you don't use any of them?
Oh, I do. I use so many different methodologies. I mean, the main one is repetition. I remember lines because I've learnt them, and I've learnt them by repetition. I go over them again and again and again. The other way is through rehearsal. Once I've rehearsed a scene, it's a lot easier to learn the lines. It's much harder to learn the lines, to get off the script before you've actually rehearsed the play, the film, whatever it is. And nowadays you don't get a lot of rehearsal in screen work. It's an interesting journey to go on. You don't often get interviewed about yourself and asked about yourself. And if you do get asked questions, they're not ones that you have predicted normally. And even though I maybe had forgotten some of the questions that I was going to be asked, and so had no idea what I was going to say, it's a lovely experience to be asked questions that you think, oh yeah, no, that is a pertinent question for me. Definitely a positive experience.